meeting of the Somerville Zoning Board for September 3rd, 2025 will please come to order. Adequate notice of this meeting, as required by the Open Public Meeting Act, has been provided. A copy of the notice specifying the date, time, and location was published in the Courier News, posted on the bulletin board outside of Borough Hall, posted at the municipal website, and given to the clerk administrator. This meeting is a judicial proceeding. Any questions or comments must be limited to the issues the board may legally consider in reaching a decision. And that the quorum appropriate for judicial hearing must be maintained at all times. Roll call. How's that?
Chairman Adair is excused. Ed Allett.
Here.
Roberta Carpenitz is also excused. Morgan McLaughlin. Here. Rich O'Neill.
Here.
Brian Vadimski.
Here.
John Flores.
Here.
Eric Alvarez.
Here.
And Stuart Daniels is also excused.
Salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Racing head there, Morgan.
Thanks for fixing the chair.
All right. Need a motion for the minutes from the August 20th.
I'll move them.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ed Allett.
Yes.
Morgan McLaughlin.
Yes.
Rich O'Neill.
Yes.
And Brian Vadimski.
Yes.
Halfway through our agenda already. Resolution 2025-011Z.
I'll move it.
Second.
Any additions, corrections, or anything?
Ed Allett.
Yes.
Morgan McLaughlin.
Yes.
And Rich O'Neill.
Yes.
So which one are we doing first, Main Street?
Yeah, 381.
All right, application 2025-008Z, the 281 East Main Street.
Okay.
Yes,
Are we going to hear both of these tonight?
I think we're playing it by ear.
Well, people say yes.
Oh, okay. Were you listening, we hearing both these tonight?
No.
My suggestion, I spoke to the applicants, too, it might be better to hear one tonight and hear another at the next meeting, because the second one is a good bit more complex than the first one. That's just my thinking, I'm not trying to make it easy, I'm just,
Who's
Plus
conflicted?
also, we only have 5 for the second meeting.
And we don't have our site engineer, so,
Gotcha.
okay.
yeah, he has a conflict this evening, so.
Who's conflicted with the West End Avenue one?
Right.
Anybody else?
We still have a, so we still have a short board.
And so Stu and Brian are conflicted with that one?
So we'd have Roberta back for the next meeting, hopefully, if she's in town.
So 6 for the next meeting.
So it gets you off the 5.
And Art should be here for the next one.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
All right.
So we're holding off on the voting for that?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
would be my thinking, you know, you've got a use variance, you probably, I mean, I don't recommend. And I always counsel applicants that you don't want to go with a short board with a D variance. And I think any responsible board attorney around anywhere in the state's going to do the same thing. I mean, that's up to you, Mr. Pogrodnik, but, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna be here with the same owner, same applicant, for the next meeting, so I think that makes sense,
All right.
for sure. So,
we'll
but we have a
do-
lot of testimony to get through, so.
Right. So we'll do 281 East Main this evening?
Yes, sir.
Very good.
So anybody in the
Okay.
public that's here to hear 69 West End Ave, that's not going to be heard tonight? That's going to be heard on the 17th? Brian?
Yes,
Brian?
will you send a new notice to the neighborhood?
Is that being heard on the 17th? Okay.
We're gonna, no. I think we noticed for
Yeah,
tonight.
the notice was sufficient, so we wouldn't have, there wouldn't be further notice, because the notice has already been accepted. We will accept notice and carry it to September 17th at 7 PM, and any members of the public who have an interest in the application are welcome to attend in this location at that time. It'll be agendized for September 17th, 2025 at 7 PM, 7 AM, right? 7 PM.
Thank
Thank you.
Cliff, on the 17th, I will not be here.
So we're gonna still have 5-member board. We'll have Art and we'll have Roberta.
So maybe 6.
We might have 6.
Yeah, my attendance is not assured at this point.
All right, well, that's understood. The applicant is certainly on notice of that. Again, given the complexity of the application, I mean, and that's, I'm not telling you how to advise your client, but,
Yeah, we may ask to adjourn that perhaps, if it's going to be a short board for
and
that
that'll
other
be
site.
open, and that certainly will be open to you if that's.
Okay, okay.
That option will be open to you. With that in mind, I'm just saying, I think we have everything your notice is all right for 281, as it was for the other one, and you can go forward.
Thank you. Members of the board, my name is Mike Ogrodnik. I'm an attorney at Savo Schalk Law Firm here in Somerville, New Jersey, on behalf of the applicant, Princeton Canal LLC, in connection with 281 East Main Street, known as Block 39, Lot 2. This is a subject property. It's located on a 75 by 200-foot lot in the professional office and residential POR zone. It's presently improved with a 2,142 square foot, 2.5-story engineering office building. The applicant proposes in this application to convert the existing building into 2 residential apartments. We've included floor plans with this application, and what we're essentially proposing is 3 bedrooms on the first floor and 3 bedrooms on the second floor. This application also proposes to improve both the basement and the attic, not with residential bedrooms, but with a recreation room for the anticipated tenants, as well as a bathroom. This application necessitates the following relief. The first variance needed is a D4, floor area ratio variance. The ordinance in Somerville permits in the POR zone, as you know, 25% FAR, maximum FAR. Property currently, as it exists, is 16.8%, and the proposed design would increase the floor area ratio to 30.19%. We submit that this modest increase is in keeping with the character of the neighborhood, does not create substantial detriment. Although there are no proposed changes to the footprint of the existing building, the additional living space for the basement and the attic have been added to the gross floor area calculations. And we'll have our other professionals go over that with a little more detail. In addition, there's a maximum improvement coverage variance where the ordinance permits 50% and the existing site, as it is today, is 62.53%. There is currently no proposed improvements, and this application proposing maintaining that same percentage without any further increase. There's also a variance related to the maximum building height, although again, it's a pre-existing building. By adding, it's a 2.5-story building, and as your ordinance is written, if we were to reside on that attic space, it's technically becomes a three-floor house. So therefore, it would be technically a D6 height variance. But again, according to the tax records, this property was constructed in 1960, and there will be no additional height added to the existing building. There is a small addition area, but it does not impact the maximum height allowance. But again, it's the stories, it's not the actual height of the existing structure. We have Khalid Zaytoun, our architect, and Beth McManus, our planner. We also have Mr. Wahi. Mr. Wahi's been a resident and business owner in Somerville for several decades. We have submitted affidavits of publication. I've submitted the proofs to Mr. Backey as well as to Mr. Gibbons, and unless there are any legal questions related to notice, we believe it fits the requirements of the municipal land use law, and we would ask that Khalid Zaytoun is introduced as our first witness, and I will qualify.
I believe the notice is sufficient as to legal form and content, and the board can accept jurisdiction and I'll be happy to swear in your first witness, sir. Would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please state your name and spell your last name for the record.
My name is Khalid Zaytoun. My name is Khalid Zaytoun. Last name spelled as Zeitoun.
Very good, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Your counsel, your witness, sir.
All right. So.
Well, let me just ask a few questions about your qualifications. Are you a licensed architect?
Yes.
And are you licensed in the state of New Jersey?
Yes.
And is your license current and active?
Yes.
I would offer him as an expert in the area of architecture.
Just provide some boards in the area that you've testified before.
What are some, have you testified before boards of adjustment and land use boards in the past?
Not recently.
Not recently? Okay. Have you done that in your career?
A little bit. Yes.
Okay, okay. Well, could you go over some of the projects, some of the types of projects that you've been working on?
So I have worked in a corporate setting and in my career in like mostly federal buildings. I'm currently, I work for a city government position, holding the title of an architect. And I've worked on many federal buildings, houses, and commercial spaces and offices.
Thank you.
Your New Jersey license
Yes.
is current?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Counselor.
Okay, can you just first go over the existing site conditions and just take a look at what's there today, and then we'll walk through the proposed changes to the structure?
So currently we have a 2.5-story building with a side.
Can you please use the standing mic? You could take it off the stand if you
yeah.
want.
Okay,
I was
my
gonna say, everything is being taken down, so please speak clearly and into the microphone.
You can take the mic off the stand too if you want.
Okay, yeah, that would be easier. Okay, so currently we have a 2.5-story building with an existing basement and an existing attic that's unfinished. What we're planning to do is basically increase, so the right side of the building, as you're looking from backing the street, it's 1 story, where our plan is to extend the 2nd floor to the edge of the 1st floor. So to make it like one big building, no height changes, as Mike stated before, and no, the basement and the attic are gonna be finished. So basically all what we're adding to the existing building is this small part, which I believe is it's around like 400 something square feet. So going through the plans, I forgot to mention there is a parking lot because it's a converted house from an existing commercial space to an office, from existing commercial space to 2-family house. So currently on the basement, as we mentioned, as it is right now, it has a crawl space under this second floor addition, and just like a mechanical room and a break room. The rest is like a office space with multiple office spaces, offices and a conference room and a reception on the 1st floor. 2nd floor, same applies, office and a storage. Offices and a storage. And the attic currently is unfinished, so it's used as a storage. As it is sitting right now, it's unfinished. Moving on to the addition. So the existing building, as we mentioned before, like what we're planning to do, and I'm gonna get to that. This is the building as it sits right now on page A3.
Just to clarify, Mr. O'Granick, these are the same plans that you filed with the board?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go right ahead.
All right, so for the proposed plans, what's planned is the first floor is going to have the basement, the second floor is going to have the attic as an additional recreational space, not for bedroom purposes, not for sleeping quarters, but just for recreational space as an additional space, family room. So as it says on the plans, we're going to add like a laundry room, bathroom in the basement, and the recreational space. And the basement has like the gas meter and stuff like that. The first floor has 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a kitchen and a living dining area. That is just strictly for the first floor. The second floor, same applies: 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, and living. Proposed living dining area and a kitchen, and stairs to the attic, which we're going to add recreational space, like whatever happened in the basement, and a bathroom, laundry room, and a storage closet. This does not, again, like add any square footage to, it doesn't add anything to the height of the building as it sits right now. And you could see that in the elevations. So the building, we're going to maintain the current architectural style, so nothing is going to change. And the rest is going to stay the same, just the basement finished and the attic finished. Currently, we are on 3 variances. First of all is the maximum improvement coverage, which is currently, as it sits, 62.53 with the parking lot in the back and the building as it sits and walkways. And it's going to stay the same. For the maximum stories, as I mentioned before, it's going to be the same height, so no height changes. So, but since we're finishing the attic, it's considered the 3rd floor. And last but not least is the maximum FAR. So the reason why it jumps from 16.8 to 30.19 is we added the basement and the attic as finished spaces. So currently we added those. Those were not added initially in the existing. So that's the jump. But initially what we're doing is just adding to the extent of the building. And that's
How would you describe the architecture, the style of the structure?
So the style of the structure is, I don't know what to call it as it is, but colonial architecture, I would say. Yeah.
And on the floor and basement area, does that provide height of 7 feet, 7 floor to ceiling height of 7 feet, or less than 7 feet?
Yeah, I mean for the basement, yes. For the attic, obviously, like it's a gable roof, so
Okay.
it's like at the end of the day, it's gonna be like maybe like a 5-6 foot of 7 feet, and the rest narrows down to almost 0.
Now, when you were doing your floor area ratio calculations, did you include that the entirety of the basement of the improved area as well as the attic included to add into that floor area ratio calculation?
Yes.
Even though that certain parts of it are not at 7 feet?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
We were asked to do it that way, but
Yeah.
technically it's a conservative approach because the ordinance just requires the 7 foot areas with 7 foot to be included in the FAR. But we were asked to do the whole footprint of the attic, but just pointing that out. It's a conservative calculation.
Yeah, Mike, you brought that up. In my report, I asked, I don't know what the ceiling height in the attic was. Everything else was stated except for the attic on the plans, so.
Yeah, it's the area kind of in the middle, but we've included it for purposes of the variance to
Right.
include the entire floor.
But the ceiling height in the attic is going to be,
It's variable.
but where it's finished.
Yeah.
The finished portion of the attic, I know it's variable.
Yeah.
But the highest is,
The highest is going to be,
So basically, this dashed line that's shown on the plan, this is pretty much like the 7 foot, and from there it starts to go down. But like in order to do that, we were asked to calculate the whole area. but
y-
not the whole the whole
Right.
attic is 7 feet.
So you have a section in the middle that's over 7 feet probably, right?
Ye-
And then you could tear down with the knee
Yes.
wall. You have the knee walls that obviously start at 3 or 4 feet.
Yes,
So those
exactly.
sections between the peak and the knee wall, some of that area is under 7 feet, is what
Correct.
we're saying. Some's over, but a lot of it's under 7 feet.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
I have no further questions for the witness.
Questions from members of the board?
Yeah, I've got some questions. We've got a letter from the Fire Prevention Bureau talking about sprinkler systems. Have you given that any thought?
Yes. So sprinkler system. You can see in some of the images, the basement has an existing fire sprinkler system. But
Basement?
Just the
How about-
basement.
How about the third floor?
The third floor does not have.
Have you considered putting it there?
Ryan, would you
It's-
mark that as A1?
It's a consideration, but I mean, if it's necessary, but like I think per IBC, it's not required for 2 families.
A lot of things aren't required. I'm asking a question.
I did not consider it.
Okay, that's the answer.
So just to update, we just did, in response to some of the comments that were made, we did reach out to ASCO Fire, and then we did retain their services for purposes of installing an NFPA 13D sprinkler system. And so we are proposing that, but I understand that Mr. Cole has some comments on the D subcategory.
Yeah, Mike, it's basically frowned on in the borough because it uses the same water supply as domestic, which is only adequate to 1 or 2 sprinkler heads and you run out of water. So what the fire marshal has done is typically started a 13R, which is a separate system. Now, to address the issue, as the board knows, it's not 13R or 13 system is not UCC code compliant for this. So the architect is right. I don't think it's per the code, but the board typically entertains this for the variances for the height and safety factor of putting a sprinkler system that's 13R. We typically, when I say we, the board has never done a 13D because of the limited quantity of water that can be produced by a 13D. So I'm not saying it's not code compliant. I think it is code compliant, but the board has generally not accepted the 13D when you have the variances because 13R or a 13R is a much more system that protects the structure more.
Understood.
That answers.
It protects the occupants more than the structure, and that's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
I don't give a rat about the building. I don't want to see any kids die in an attic.
Yeah.
That's really the bottom line.
And after conferring with Mr. Wahi, we would comply with that
Yeah.
request of the board.
Thank you.
I'm just curious, how do they get the pressure up?
They don't, like, they have a separate, you bring a separate water line in, a mechanical system, so you have 2 independent systems. You have the domestic shower, whatever, and then you have this separate system that comes in that's for the sprinklers only, so that you can run whatever the code requires in terms of heads and pressure and flow. It's typically, Ed, is it typically 2-inch, 3-inch for just a,
Depends on the flow.
yeah, I would say I've never seen under 3-inch main ridden, but I'm not saying you can't do it.
Very good. We would certainly agree to that condition. As well as, obviously any restriction related to the bedrooms and we see that typically. We think it makes good sense to use that space in the attic and the basement for rec,
Yeah.
and get the kids up and down. They're separated and kind of have the living space in between. But we'd certainly agree to
Right.
any condition that would prohibit
Oh.
occupancy for bedrooms on those 2.
Forget the kids, it's football. Football's back.
Exactly.
The building has an external staircase on it would be the north side of the building. Is that proposed to remain? Because if the bedrooms are on the 2nd floor, the windows could be the second means of egress. I'm just clarifying what the status and what the proposal is on the external staircase.
So the plan is for the second staircase to remain. It's
Okay.
entrance to unit 2. So it's existing to remain.
So you're gonna remain, but you're gonna, but for UCC purposes, you're gonna use the windows as the second means of egress from the bedrooms?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just figuring out because with these, and this is not my realm, but the external fire staircases, if you're gonna use it, some of the triggers, it has to be metal now, not wood. And I'm trying to say that this is not code required, so trying to couch this, that you don't need it per code, because I don't want, you could get caught into
Yeah.
whether the existing staircase external meets current code because of the change of use. So what you're saying is, it's remaining, but from a second means of egress, it's not gonna be considered, you're gonna use the windows. So we don't have to, when I say that the construction department, is it gonna look at the staircase from a second means of egress?
Second means of egress,
Okay.
and every bedroom will have like an egress size window. Yeah.
You're talking about the wood staircase in the back of the building? Yeah. But there's a door that goes out to the landing. So what are you talking about with windows?
The proposed bedrooms
Yeah.
on the second floor you don't have to, but you need a second means of egress. And I think it has to be at 5.4 square feet.
Yes.
There's a dimensional size requirement. So the windows they're gonna install in the bedrooms will meet the requirement to classify as a second means of egress. So what the applicant is saying, and the architect is saying, is the windows will be that. We're gonna remain the staircase, but from a code perspective, the staircase is not gonna be the official second means of egress for the bedrooms.
Okay, and a wood staircase is okay?
There's something about it has to be steel now in the new code, and that's what I'm fleshing out, that I don't know that,
There's no other way in that apartment, correct? So it's not a fire escape, it's actual steps into the apartment.
It's actual entry
Yeah.
point. Yes.
so
So it will be steel?
I'm saying I don't think if it's not a second means of egress, if it's not code required, I don't think it has to meet the code standards. What I'm getting at, I was trying to flush that out, because I've been with the fire marshal, and he's got to do inspection of these external staircases, and there's something in the code about using steel now. I don't know what's acceptable anymore. So that's why all the discussion on the staircase.
Anybody else from the board have any questions of the architect?
Yeah, do you have, so prior to it being an office building, it was a residential home? Do you know?
Yes.
Yes.
According to the tax records, it was constructed in 1960 as a residential home.
Single family, or,
I would assume so, yeah.
what was the thinking behind putting showers and closets in the attic and the basement?
So it's basically like a convenience feature. So like the attic, for example, somebody staying in the attic, they don't need to go to the first floor, especially that one of the bathrooms is in the master suite. So it is kind of a long run to go all the way to the first floor if you're using the recreational space. But it's just for convenience, nothing more than that. But yeah, basically for convenience.
And having been through this before, these are inspected. And, certainly we have no objection to those inspections to ensure that the typical annual landlord's registration statement spurs the inspections, the safety code. So we certainly have no issue on compliance, but these are not intended to be habitable as bedrooms. But we think it's like a great, valuable space just for really amenity and rec space for the families.
Yeah, and just to add to that, as we discussed before, the attic doesn't have the height clearance in order to accommodate a sleeping quarters. So it's just gonna be like a recreational space. Same applies for the basement. There is no per code you cannot make that a bedroom. So there is no egress from the basement. So that's why it cannot be called a bedroom. And it should not be a bedroom, and it's not gonna be a bedroom.
Any other questions for the architect? Anybody from the audience have any questions of the architect? Step up to the mic, state your name and your address.
Daniel Swa, 16 Grant Avenue. My question is relating to the apartments. I'm a little confused when you say if somebody's staying on the attic, that for convenience, they don't have to go to the basement to use the bathroom. Is the apartment on the second floor and the attic one apartment, and the first floor and the basement one apartment?
You're right.
So why would they be going from the attic the other through somebody else's apartment?
I didn't mean the basement. I meant from the attic to the first floor. So it's,
Second floor.
to the second floor. My bad.
Okay.
So
All right,
from
that's
from
why I was
here to
confused.
here. So yes, you're right. It's from the second floor and the attic are one unit. From basement and first floor are one unit.
Okay, and also, I don't know if you're involved with the landscaping, what's going to happen with the outdoor
I
lighting?
think that's coming up, Dan.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
So did we talk about the roof, the windows, and the siding?
Not yet.
Is he the gentleman?
Are you the roof, siding, and window guy?
Yes, we are architect.
All brand new?
That's up to the client. Yes. Yes. All brand new.
Okay. What's,
That was a big list.
Come on, swear yourself in first. To swear yourself in first, so sit down.
Should we swear him in?
We'll have to swear him in, Counselor.
I think we should swear him in, yeah.
Hold a second. Are we done with the architect?
He should remain available. The architect should remain available, so.
So you can have a seat. If we need you,
Have a
we'll call you
seat.
back up.
Sure.
Would you please raise your right hand? You solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Please state your name and spell your last name for the record, sir.
My first name is Ashok, A-S-H-O-K. Last name is Wahi, W-A like Washington, H-I like Hawaii.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ogrodnik, your witness?
So you've been practicing as an engineer in Somerville for how many years, Mr. White?
43 years,
Okay, and when did you purchase the subject property?
around 2007, 2008,
And
before,
and it's used as your primary headquarters, office headquarters for your business?
exactly.
And
That's-
just briefly, what is your business?
Our business is innovation, IP. We develop process and patents, new inventions. I've been involved with that for many, many years, since I was a consultant to a lot of pharmaceutical, medical device companies. And we do all kinds of labs, specialized pharmaceutical, medical device places. I've been consultant to almost every J&J, every pharmaceutical company. And currently, we expanding into AI and working on new search engines and apps for convenience of people. That's what we've been.
And talk to us about how you envision the renovation of this property. We understand there's going to be an addition, but just talk to us about how you envision, new windows, new siding, things like that.
The siding was done not too long ago. We'll do matching wherever else it's needed to be extended on the second and a half floor to go into the third story. We'll match everything existing, but the siding was done not too long ago. It's in a great shape. I don't want to incur work and effort and money on that. We'll do the improvements as per the code requires everywhere and more to visualize the safety of the occupants. My daughter was born in Somerville Medical Center Hospital, 1986. She's the biomedical engineer with me from Rutgers. Somerset County, since I moved in 1982 or 3 to Somerset County, I've been living there forever. And my operating office is there, and Somerset County is where we're going to be moving to in Bridgewater, very close to the main street, where we like shopping, walking, eating.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Do you have any questions of the owner?
So, new roof,
Yeah, the board had questions.
you're going to install a new roof?
We will inspect the roof. It's been done not too long ago. We'll see whatever is required. The architect with us, construction team will be there. We will comply with everything that is needed to make it a durable, workable, maintainable, sustainable type of structure.
about the parking lot? What do you intend to do? Leave it as it is, or what do you intend to do with that?
The parking lot is currently oversized. Our company's vision is to make it in a way that there's some space. The architect, when the subject comes up, will do more explaining on that. But we intend to reduce the parking space to have adequate parking, as well as some nice backyard, or to be made into a nice backyard as we go along.
And that would reduce the relief that was
Of
needed
course,
for the
right,
variance.
that was the intention, that we get, sort of kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah, I think there's 15 spots now there,
Yeah.
and we need
Right.
16, and then we have the handicap spot, which we think we keep, and then 4 spots or 5 spots at least. You know, it's like a catch-22 with parking in this town, you know. We need the
You have
parking,
too many.
but,
You could trade it to another place.
yeah, I know, exactly. It's not a bad idea.
Should we not see the rendering of what the backyard's gonna look like? Because it is all parking right now. And if we're gonna put it into residential, we might as well make it be a residential property instead of a two-family with a parking lot that has 18 spaces.
When you come to that, we can do the rendering.
I think we'll be able to accommodate that request,
Thought
Mr.
through.
McLaughlin. So I'm going to reintroduce, thank you, Mr. Wahi.
Thank you.
Hold on a second.
Thank you both.
Does anybody from the audience have any questions of the owner?
Good evening.
You can step up to that one.
Gina Stravic, 16 Grand Avenue. As you're talking about parking lot, I do want to point out that the area is very wet, that floods there. There's a swale that really never got completed. Other properties along the East Main Street have the issues. One of them even has a pump in the drainage in the middle of the parking lot. I know there's drainage in the middle of this parking lot. Also, I'd like to point out that the owners have eliminated all the trees on the maybe 4 foot, 6 foot buffer, and now they spray it with poison. They have their landscapers spray it with poison, which is affecting our yard. Also, I'd like to point out that on the south side of the property, the neighbor there incurs flooding because the parking lot runoff runs, I don't know if the drains work. Larry Cleveland has a lot of information on that. He didn't come tonight. But the property drains towards the house directly behind us and then swamps our far backyard as well. So there's definitely need to remove the parking. Macadam would be great. And to make sure that the drainage is suitable would be advised.
You might want to just put that in the form of a question, essentially, what does the applicant intend to do in connection with those issues? Because it's time for questions now. Comments usually come at the close of the case.
So you can ask any questions of that.
So how will the drainage work for the backyard? How will the landscaping work?
There you go.
How will the treatment of the property work with poisons? And how will be assured that the drainage that's there is operable?
Counselor, do you have an engineer that's going to talk about parking lot?
So we do not have a site engineer for this, but he is a PE. His license is
I was just
unfortunately
asking.
not currently active. So he's just introduced as a fact witness tonight,
Okay.
but he is a professional engineer that was licensed, I think, until 2019 in New Jersey. So we would like to introduce A2, which I think is going to address some of these issues related to removing enough of the macadam to avoid the variance.
Could you
My-
describe it, or are there additional copies, or?
So this was just a thought that we didn't anticipate that parking is going to be an issue, so we just kept that for our records. But basically, if the parking lot is removed by
Focusing on it as
approximately
much as possible,
1871 square feet, it brings down the impervious coverage to the required 50%. So currently, as discussed before, the impervious coverage is 62.53. If we remove from the parking lot the backside, 1871 square feet, it's going to come down to 50%, which is the required by the zoning. So that's one option, and it complies with the zoning ordinance.
Do you have any other copies of that? Could that be shared with the board, or maybe give it to me, or give it to the
I don't have copies, but
secretary, and we'll pass it, because I think the board deserves to be able to look at it. In fact, I know the board deserves to be able to look at it.
Do you have a display you can do with shared?
What, did we mark that?
I was gonna say, I'm gonna
A-
mark it as
A2.
A2.
So what our thinking was that we would work with Mike Cole to firm up that, the design of that, as well as the lighting and any additional vegetation. And then obviously we'll get a PE to confirm that, everything works the way it should, but.
Be a New
the in-
Jersey P, or,
Yeah,
Yeah.
where he can get reactivated pretty easily.
no,
Yeah, yeah.
I understand, it's
Yeah.
just that, it's my job to make sure you've got everything, in line where it needs to be.
Yeah, so the intent is to reduce the impervious coverage to comply with the code, and then we'll have to submit plans that Mr. Cole can review, that would be, compliant for all other engineering perspectives.
So you currently have a catch basin in the back of the property?
Michael?
Yeah, there's two catch basins in the middle of the parking lot that there's actually three on the property, two in the parking lot and one back to the swale that's by the fence along the northern property boundary. And as the resident had pointed out, I had the same questions about drainage. Are those catch basins tied to a swale system, a piping system that's located along the property lines? It would be to the north of the back, it would be on the back side of the property.
Want me to address it? I can address it to the best of my knowledge and belief. We have never flooded in our parking lot. We have never flooded except in basement when there was a hurricane some time ago, when we got just a whole slew of things. That's the point. We added a second sump pump in the basement. Currently, we have two sump pumps. They work. I did not get the name, but we had a very fair and reasonable question from one of our neighbors. The trees they're referring to were, a couple of them were only dead, very dead in our side, and there's a safety issue. If the wind blows, it can fall on any property or vehicle, or even go to the neighbor's premises or property. Those are all precautionary. We have not sprayed any poisonous thing except for commercially available weed killers, because weeds are also objectionable to the neighbors. We're very considerate of the neighbors' requirements. I see children or teenagers or young people working. Our neighbors, one of the one just graduated to be I won't say the profession, but we feel that we are sort of a misfit now in the area. We have consultants coming many times during the day. FedEx is coming, UPS tries to deliver. And we have another inconvenience, that people come into our neighbor's business just to U-turn. They come in and they're in the wrong side because they don't apparently have a entrance from the East Main Street. So they have to go to the side street to come into the parking lot. Other reason that we wanted to have some landscaping be changed sort of to accommodate that plan or concept is exactly like that. Two parking lots which are so huge in size, they look more like a commercial space. Now this will be breaking the other parking lot from visionary aspects, aesthetics. We are very familiar and considerate of the neighbors. Our part has never flooded. We've been there almost 18 years. We have, it's a business place. We have some records stored in the basement, which is very valuable. I have 40 plus patents, including in China, Japan, other countries. What we store is valuable to us, and that's why we need to protect it.
What about the catch basins? Where do they drain to?
They, as I said, knowledge and belief, they should go to some kind of running drainage, because we clean them and the water drains as the rain comes in the area. I mean, there's no other way. They're not storing anywhere. There's no apparent storage. If there's one basin which is not apparently connected to, as the thing is there, on the neighbor side of the property, we may not be aware, because our other drainage works pretty good, and we reducing the impervious, which will improve the collection of water to greater degree by almost 2,000 square feet.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wahi.
I spoke too much.
Shouldn't we have an engineer plan, because now we're talking about this is a major change, and now we just were served with this piece of paper here that said, we're gonna remove X amount of macadam, but we don't see plantings. I see a lot of trees that were cut down in the back. How about the fence? Who owns the fence in the back? You do.
Yeah, that was one of my questions about the condition of the fence, and it was half on the property line. It floats a little bit out there on the back.
Yeah. And you have, in the back there are the trees that were cut down, you have the stumps that are still there, so, you know, you're putting in a major, major improvement, and I still think, I go back to the building, are you going to put a brand-new roof on the whole thing, or are you going to try to match it to your addition?
As the situation permits, we will match and we will change it as if it's required to be changed at that time. That's a construction engineering decision at that time to be made.
And again, not to, shouldn't we see what the building is gonna look like? On the outside, I mean, the front and the back, because it's a Tudor. I took a picture, I wish I took a better picture today, but the second floor is a Tudor-style construction. Are you going to continue that? And
Yes.
It shouldn't be up to us to guess what you're doing. It should be up to you to tell us what you're gonna.
It will be Tudor-style construction. It will be the matching existing.
Would seem to me that an engineering site plan might be helpful.
I don't understand the drainage down there. Was this a mystery? I mean, that pipe's gotta go somewhere.
As the resident said, I'm aware that along those properties on East Main on the north side, there's a drainage issue being, there's an area that doesn't drain well, ponds, water, and the county system on East Main, I think there's a county system there that's in the sidewalk, not in the road, that's undersized, and the county has stated serious concerns, and I think this is why on some of these applications, we've seen some French drains or some other methods to try to deal with the water, which frankly has not worked well because Somerville has a lot of silts and clays. So if you're trying to do a seepage pit or something, you need the water to go somewhere. So the bottom line is I do believe, as the residents pointed out, there is a concern back there, and that's what I put in the report, what is going on, because I just see catch basins. I see 3 catch basins. And I don't know if that piping system along there ties into the road to the south, because there's only a couple houses in.
Is that swale discharge anywhere?
Well, that's part of the issue, is what's going on with that swale. The problem predates me. It's something from the 90s or the 80s. It's a problem out there. Now, what the applicant is saying is that he's not seeing flooding on his property, and he's reducing the impervious, the blacktop. So in theory, it should help, but that's why I asked the question, is it his property, are those properties adversely impacting each other? I'm hearing there's a problem out there. And
Well, which way does the pitch go? I mean, does his parking lot, can that possibly drain out to Main Street? Or is it gonna go uphill?
no, it has to go uphill, Rich, my understanding.
Doesn't usually work.
Typically, that's what the catch basins, some of those are tied into the piping on Main Street
Yeah,
that the county has. The county's very sensitive about that. They don't want that tie-in because they've indicated in other applications they're at
But
capacity.
the normal flow, the pitch, which way would it go?
I don't think it's to the south. I think it's to the north and to that swale along the property line. I think that's where the impounding issue.
This is a neighborhood issue then.
It's a neighborhood issue
Yeah.
that obviously would like to see the condition improved back onto what Morgan had said about what is going on out here, what exactly is happening. And that's what I tried to raise in the report. If the property's not flooding and he's reducing the blacktop, you can certainly make an argument, it's not gonna get worse, it's gonna get better with less impervious. But is there a problem that needs to be addressed with this applicant other than reducing the blacktop, is the question that I'm hearing.
appears to me that area should drain to the west, because
Yes.
Greenville Avenue is the highest
Yes.
part in town, so it should be going west through the backyards.
Agreed.
Okay, so it's not, he's not making this problem, but,
He's part of it. That whole area
yeah,
is, I think I agree with you, wants to drain to the west.
I'm wondering if that catch basin.
And I don't know if the grades there works naturally. I think
Yeah.
it doesn't, and that's why you have a swampy area, an impounded area, near that, where the fence is, that we just talked about, that wanders on the property line. That fence, there's a drainage problem along the whole row in that fence area. That is what I've seen in other applications.
That's my point, that I'm Irish, it takes a while to sink in, but that property in the rear probably drains to the west. If they built a catch basin, it may be buried, but it would go to the west. It can't go uphill. So it's gotta go west, because east is uphill.
Right, you're saying the natural drainage should be
Yeah.
to the west and to the, well, to the south, north, and the west.
Yeah.
Away from East Main, you're saying you can't have sheet flow from that parking lot come out to East Main. I agree with you.
But now for this application tonight, by reducing the impervious surface, whatever that situation is, it's not making it worse.
Right.
Okay, that's really what I think.
He's
probably
making
we
it
should-
better. The question
Yeah.
is this subject site adversely impacting the neighbors? That's the question I had in the report. And the applicant is saying he's saying that he's not having flooding issues on this property other than Ida or some issue.
Well, that would make sense, because the natural flow is going the other way from his building. But it seems to me we have a neighborhood problem that maybe we should refer to Borough Hall put it on their list, go look. But this project does not appear to be making it worse. In fact, it might even be helping by reducing the impervious surface. But that doesn't eliminate the neighborhood problem, which we can't
Right.
solve here. That's not up to us.
Yeah, the immediate concern would be, is the runoff from his property impacting the adjoining properties?
Exactly.
If the resident came from the neighbor says, every time we get a big storm, he's washing out my basement, then obviously that's a problem this neighbor, that property is doing. So that's why I was fleshing out whether the property, the drainage from the property is adversely impacting the surrounding people. I agree, Rich, that it's getting to get better by removing hard surface.
Sure.
It has to get better, but if there's an immediate problem, even if we remove some of the surface, it doesn't address the immediate problem if the applicant's site is adversely impacting the adjoining property. That's what I'm trying to find out, and I guess what the applicant is saying, he's not adversely impacting the adjoining property. But,
Well, it's good that he's saying it, but shouldn't we have an engineer that tells it to us, that does we get
Right.
these all the time, Mike. and
I agree, you're saying that we should have a licensed, I understand what you're saying.
That's number one, and then the other is that sheet here that we just saw with the re-diagram of the backyard. What's it going to look like? Where are the trees? I don't see any trees at all. It's pretty barren. I would imagine that the Belgian block curbing is gonna stay on the existing, but it would be nice to
Yeah.
see.
You're saying you would like to see a landscaping plan to see how this thing flows with the facade changes. The facade, the addition is going to match. What is the roof? You're saying you'd like to see more detail on these plans and the landscaping to show how it fits in. And then we even get to it, the lighting. Is the lighting going to stay? Is it going to go? There's some freestanding lights out there that are commercial in nature in a residential application. We haven't gotten there, but Morgan, you can't go wrong with a landscaping plan that shows how this is going to work.
Well, landscaping also absorbs water depending on what you plant.
Right.
Well,
And
for
that goes back to
landscaping-
the species, it goes back, is there shade trees? We're gonna put, if there's 6 spots, he's gonna have 2 or 3 shade trees, he's gonna address the street trees. I mean, that's where we're basically, the concern is to show this so that everything is known by the board during the hearing process.
If a landscaping plan or an engineering site plan will assist the board in making an informed decision, which is really the standard here, the applicant may need to take heed of that.
Well, I think it would be beneficial to have shade trees and a lot of green to minimize the impact of the stormwater management. Obviously, the trees do a lot of benefits, but help on the stormwater runoff.
Yeah.
So if we had a landscaping plan, that would certainly help to look at the runoff and to see how the flow is. Based on the sheet, you had 6 parking spaces. The borough ordinance in the RSIS requires 4, so the applicant's proposing 2 additional spaces, I guess, for guests. And I think that makes sense. I don't know. The ADA is great. For a 2-family dwelling, it's not required. So I'm in a weird situation being, if you're gonna have an ADA space, you have to maintain it, which is the signage and the striping. So I agree with the theory of having the ADA, but you're locked in to being a van
Right.
accessible
Right.
space. The first ADA has to be van. So if you're gonna do it, you're gonna put a van accessible, which is 16, it's gonna be 18 by 16 feet wide, 8 and 8, or 11 and 5. And I don't know if the existing ADA space complies, Mike, so.
Yeah.
I like the concept, but we're gonna open up Pandora's box with this being that if you're gonna put it in, it has to comply and be van accessible, then you run into the issue, why are we doing this for a 2-family?
Yep.
No one else for a 2-family
Right,
does it.
understood. And I'm sensing, and again, this is a fairly new parking lot, so we're sort of hoping that sort of stay the same, but after reviewing your comments and raising a couple of issues, these are engineering questions, and we really need to have an engineer do some type of analysis, because again, by removing that pavement, there's gonna be impacts. I don't know what they are, our architect doesn't. And my suggestion is that we come back with a civil engineering plan, and maybe we can update some renderings or something that can, take a look at the final product. And we would ask.
Yeah,
That would help.
I think that would help the residents, it would help me in terms of what's going on, and help the board look at, I'm getting the sense that the landscaping in this backyard is very important to the board on how it looks, how it backs up the transition from East Main to the residential neighborhood. Yes, it's a 2-family, I think that would be beneficial.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we've
Where
seen,
the catch basins go.
Right, where the catch basins go, what is
Right.
happening with the stormwater management? Okay, there's no pipes. I think there is pipes, because I think if there's no pipes, I don't think those drains would work long-term.
Well, the
But,
board.
no, the size of the piping,
Vanderveer.
to answer these questions,
The board is
beneficial.
entitled to that information that'll enable it to make
Also,
whatever appropriate
leaders ago.
decision is requested.
Roof
either-
leaders.
Either
yes.
approve or deny, and certainly, I think that's a very critical issue. I think if there's an absence of the information the board needs, then a decision, this decision is essentially invited. And that it might, again, it might benefit the applicant more, it would certainly benefit the board more.
yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of these conversions of
I'm
office
not trying to make it
spaces
worse on you, but.
to residential, and I like the idea of it, in light of the larger trends happening in terms of reduced need of office space and stuff, but before I can support this, I think I need more information. Answer the kind of questions that are being asked here. But in general, I'm in favor of the concept of taking this space and making it residential. And as you say, making it more in line with the neighbors behind and so forth. But again, I think before I can support it, I think I need more details on some of these issues.
Would we like to move to planning? Or would you like get through planning tonight?
Unless Beth's gonna say, I really need to know about the landscaping and what the parking is, because it's gonna impact her planning, because she's gonna say how aesthetically pleasing and more in line, but how can she say that until we know that, so. If it's
It would
gonna,
seem
if it's
to
gonna impact her testimony, Mike, I would say reluctantly no, but
That's fine.
That's Beth,
Yep, and Mr. Flores, you're exactly right. We're seeing a ton of interest in all these old houses that were like lawyers' offices like we were on North Bridge and
all parking.
doctors' offices
all parking lot.
going back to residential.
You may also want to consider the comments that have been
Absolutely.
received from the
Yeah.
interested public, because clearly there are material concerns there.
Yep, I agree with you, and, yeah, we would, just ask that we adjourn without additional notice.
Right.
We're gonna need more, we're not gonna be able to come back on the 17th, because we're gonna need to hire
No,
a
I think,
civil
I was gonna
engineer.
say, I think you're probably gonna need at least you're gonna need a month at least.
Okay. And then, that next hearing, you're saying, on the 17th, doesn't look like you're gonna have a full Board of Adjustment?
Does not appear that way now. I
Okay.
mean, it looks like the most we're gonna have is 6 and possibly 5 again.
Okay.
And as we discussed, you may have a critical decision to make in connection with that other application as well.
Is there a date, Ryan, that we can relist both of these so we
What's
can
our calendar look like,
perhaps
Ryan?
finish
If
this one?
the 17th doesn't work, the next available date would be October 8th, October 1st.
October 1st? Okay.
So we can push, hopefully, both of these to that, maybe we'll start the other one.
You start the other one, when, you're gonna be on the 17th with the other one,
No,
right?
well, you said that we only have 5 board members. And
No, that's right, okay, so you would
push
essentially
both
carry
to
both?
October 1st.
All right, I mean, if that's
You okay with
acceptable to the board, I think that makes sense. You understand, looks like one of your professionals can't be available.
If we're gonna carry 281 all the way to October 1st, we may need an extension for a
Yes.
decision.
Right.
I absolutely want an extension.
It might make sense to take a 5-minute recess to sort.
Yep.
Does this
We'll take a
work?
5-minute
Okay.
recess, may work that out.
Ryan, what's the calendar look like after the first, you got the 15th?
So what do you have for us?
Of course, we're just trying to figure out if we can get an engineer to get a plan together in 2 weeks. But what we'd like to do is carry this application to October 1st and the other application on the other side of town to the 15th without further notice.
A couple of things, like my microphone, a couple of things. First of all, we would like you to renotice for the 15th because, again, that's the bigger application. And the other, I would appreciate it, I wouldn't, the board would appreciate it if you would extend the time for considering the application based on our calendar through the end of the year.
That's fine, yeah.
I mean, I was gonna
Yeah.
say, there's 17 weeks, I mean, it would seem to me that we can get this thing done, but I mean, I wanna make sure, I don't want any concern about default approvals or anything like that.
Absolutely. I've always extended.
Very good, so you'll give me a letter, or you might, either myself or the board secretary, a letter to that effect?
Certainly.
And I would need that before the September 17th meeting.
And you're gonna retain an engineer, so,
Yes, sir.
very good.
Do we need a motion for that, or?
Do we also want to make sure we get architectural drawing, not a landscape drawings with the engineer?
Yes. We'll incorporate a landscape plan that will address the lighting, the
Landscaping and lighting, yeah.
vegetation, and the stormwater.
The other thing I would encourage too is that maybe they can talk to the two neighbors in the back about the fences. They're both totally disrepair. I don't think that he owns them, but it's a direct reflection on his property.
Okay?
And if you can
Thank you.
clarify on the, Mike, on the facade, the colors, the windows, and where that staircase is gonna remain, does it block any egress window? Just, if you could just clarify exactly what the proposal is for the
Yeah.
facade.
Right.
We can do a
The roof,
colorized
the
rendering.
shingles, if the
of-
shingles
yeah,
are black, if they
yep.
don't match, they don't match, replace the whole roof, but if they match, we're good, stuff like that, so.
Is that amenable to the neighbors? What we've discussed, you know, that they sound you out on this?
Yeah, we welcome to the neighborhood, we just really need to address the water issues and
Yeah.
the landscape
Okay.
plan.
That's fair.
So,
Yeah.
got a
And
motion-
we're assuming, Mike, that you want to get some of that commercial lighting reduced to residential.
Yeah, that
Full
was,
candles.
we didn't get to it,
Yeah.
but there is a bunch of light poles out there that, obviously, it's a two-family. Do you need lighting to that extreme? Can you do wall-mounted residential style lighting, or, and if you could address whether we're gonna keep the ADA space, I think the layout, where the green space is, where quote Johnny's gonna play, where is that parking lot? Is it gonna be a place to barbecue against that? Are you gonna say, no, we want the parking against it and the green behind it, near the swale? Just those types of, the detail, that was always in the detail.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay.
Need a motion to move this application to October 1st.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Ed Allett?
Yes.
Morgan McLaughlin? Rich O'Neill?
Yes.
Brian Budimski?
Yes.
John Flores?
Yes.
And Eric Alvarez?
Yes. We didn't open up the second application, so we don't take action on that.
All right. If you have any questions, give me a call. Thank you.
Next thing on the agenda is discussion of 85 West High Street. Mike's going to fill you in.
Thank you, Acting Chairman. 85 West High is, you know, Joe, that was the Dominic application where we had a office on the first floor with apartments on the second and third floor. There was an addition on the old rectory. I knew it as a dentist, but before the dentist, it was a rectory. I had a fire for Mr. O'Neill down there, filled us in the color on that. Anyhow, there's an existing parking lot, and they're redoing the parking lot. And the new curbing was installed. And if you look at the curbing, the intent of the applicant was to do a mill and overlay. But the way the the curbing was done. Nothing on the board, nothing in my office did. It was gonna require about 6 or 8 inches of all the parking lot to be taken out to get the 6-inch reveal. The typical on a new application is a 6-inch curb reveal. That's the height on the curb. When you see overlays, and you do a 6-inch, when you do overlays, you're down to 4 inches, so you just don't have a problem. Well, he's looking for relief of the 6 inches because of where the elevations were, what was installed, to maybe do something less, a 5-inch. See if the board would entertain. The details are clear on the approved plans that the board saw is a 6-inch curb. We had discussions about granite blocking and concrete curbing. The board remember, this is going back 3 or 4 years ago. So he asked me about a couple of weeks ago whether or not I was receptive to lowering the curb reveal to help with all the excavation. I reached out to Art and Ed, and they said bring it to the board to get feedback from the board. So that's why it's on the agenda. It's what curb reveal does the board found acceptable for the finished product? Is this 5-inch curb reveal? Is it 4-inch, or does it have to be the 6-inch because it's a new parking lot, and it's up to the board on how you want to handle this.
Any of that affect the drainage from that lot?
No.
Is there any safety concern about cars rolling forward or going over the curb or something if it's too low?
You'll see in town typically, the DOT says anywhere from 4 to 8 inches, which no one uses 8 inches because it'll cause damage. Most cars, you pull up to a curb stop, a curb too much with the valance, you get the other understates. What you'll see in the borough is typically between 4 and 6 inches.
Pop a spring
Right.
with 8 inches.
You'll see 6 inches on roads that have been milled and overlaid. New construction, you typically see 6-inch reveal. So he's looking to see if the board will allow flexibility off the 6-inch reveal so he doesn't have to dig all his asphalt out and the sub base. If he has to go to where it is, he's gonna have to dig out he's gonna lose all the asphalt and the sub base. He's gonna have to put it all back.
What's he gonna do, mill on surface?
The plan was to take out 2, 3, 4 inches and put it back. Don't disturb the sub base. We call it the sub base. You have 2 inches of top, 4 inches on base, and then 6 inches of DGA. The way this is right now, he's gonna lose all the asphalt, the base, and most of the DGA. So that means he's going to put the DGA back, and he's going to have to put all the asphalt back. So he's looking,
Might be better letting him just put an overlay on that now as opposed to having settling later and all those problems you get when you dig that stuff up.
well, I don't think it's going to settle, Rich. It's been there a million years. It's not going to, in my opinion, it's not going to settle. It's just a question of what the finished product should look like. And it's clear in the plans, and I asked his engineer more than once, this is for a curb reveal of 6 inches. And the answer is yes, yes, yes. The approved plans are 6 inches. The standard RSIS, it's all 6 inches.
So who made the mistake?
Depending on who you talk to, I can say that I looked at the cut sheets and raised the concern. Morgan, it's a mistake. If you can make it work. I'm not saying it can't work. It's just a question. He's got to take out an extra 3, 4, 5 inches of material, and he's saying it's a financial hardship. So it works. I'm not saying it doesn't work. He's just trying to minimize the excavation to get him through the process a little less costly. That's the bottom line. It's there. It's going to work. It's going to drain.
It's not gonna change the end product.
No, it's aesthetics. It's going to come back to how do you. When you have curbing of like 3 inches, it looks like a mistake. You know, if you have a really small curb, everybody looks at it and says, who messed this up? But typically, once you go over 4 inches, it doesn't really catch the eye. But again, I said to him that I would take it to the vice chair and the chair, which said, take it to the board. This is a policy decision, a deviation on their plan on what the board's, it's like 340 Union, we had the utility pole question. This is the same type of deal. There is a field change in the field, and he's looking for direction, and I'm saying, I don't know if I have the flexibility without the board saying, yes, Cole, he can deviate an inch, or no, he can't deviate, we want a 6 inches, a brand-new project, it's a brand-new parking lot redone, it's whatever the board's desire here is. He wanted me to give him a text tonight to let him know, because he wants to start this work tomorrow.
Finally.
Yes. It's been a long.
A long time. You know, I'll just make a comment. We were very generous with that approval, number one. And if everybody can remember what it looked like architecturally, it looks great. It really does. Somebody made a mistake here, and now they're looking for our board to kind of patch it up a little bit.
Those things happen.
So it's not gonna affect drainage,
It's not.
it's not gonna affect safety.
No. It's not gonna affect drainage, he can certainly do it per plan, make it work. He's just saying he didn't anticipate a financial hardship of digging the whole parking lot out. That's the bottom line.
I don't think we want them digging it out, I mean.
Well, that's where we're at.
He's gotta go compact and all, this has been going on for weeks.
Yeah, the question is, does the board show flexibility and say you can do a 5-inch reveal, so that's 1 inch less digging? Or can you go to 4 inch and have a 2 inch less?
What's he at now,
We're-
4 inch? You said 4 inch?
Right now, the plans are 6 inch for reveal.
Is that
And
four?
I'm saying, if you look in the borough, you typically see between 4 and 6. The 4 inches are where an overlay was done. It's never, typically never does 4 inches, because down the road, you have to pave it again, you have no reveal left. And then you have to mill it, which is expense. So typically, on new construction, you always start at 6 inches, always. In this case, it's a reconstruction of the parking lot, and every inch is that much. If you do the math on the thing, it's saving, it's a lot less truckloads coming out of the site for every inch of reveal. So the question becomes, is the board comfortable or will permit something less than a 6 inch curb reveal?
That lot's been there since about 1970.
Yeah, that was the intent. The intent was not, the drainage kind of worked out there. It wasn't like this is a new site. It was not a vacant lot. The parking lot was there for 50 years. His intent, which was my intent, was to try to match it up, because we didn't have a drainage problem out there, in my opinion. Get new curbing. We had a lot of debate, discussion on the curbing to make it look proper.
Right.
Finished granite versus concrete, we had all that. So when the
This
curb
is
was set,
completely inadvertent.
if you go out there, it's, he's looking for direction, but your eye will see it. You can see when you drive out, that curb is low, if you want to try to maintain existing grades. So it's a financial, it says financial hit to him, so he's looking to see if there's flexibility.
Like, this is completely inadvertent, correct?
It's not his doing, it's not the board's doing, it's not this office's doing, it's the way, I think it was installed as designed, that this design has more coming out than the applicant anticipated. That's the bottom line.
Okay.
It works, the plan works, what was approved works, it's just he's looking at this now and saying, oh, I was not expecting to take out 8 inches of material on this driveway, on this whole parking lot. I'm thinking of taking 4 inches out. And you say, what's the big deal? You do the math on this, it's some significant quantity. So he's just saying, he didn't anticipate this financial hit of taking all this material out. So on that specs, he's looking for whether the board will grant him some relief on the face, the curb face.
What do you think, board?
I don't think aesthetically it's gonna make a bit of difference to 99% of the people who go by there. Unless you've got an eye for what you're looking at, you're not gonna notice. Yeah, that's my take. I mean, lots get repaved all the time, the curves go away.
Any other
The
thoughts?
board would be a 5-inch reveal. Comfortable with the board? I'll give you a little play for the future, a 5-inch reveal, take it from a 6 to a 5, yes, no?
I'm okay with it personally.
Okay.
I'm not gonna notice the difference between 6 and 5 inches.
You're gonna notice now.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be an interesting anecdote when I go to the farmer's market.
Somebody drive by.
So you need a motion from us, or what do you need from us?
So 5 inches?
If that's what the board's comfortable with. I'm okay with 5 inches, I don't have a problem.
I would put it in the form of a motion if you're gonna do it, yes.
Need a motion?
I'll make the motion that we allow a 5-inch reveal.
Second.
Roll call?
Ed Allett,
Yes.
Morgan McLaughlin,
Yes.
Rich O'Neill,
Yes.
Brian Budimski,
Yes.
John Flores,
Yes.
and Eric Alvarez.
Yes.
All right, that's it.
Moved and passed.
All right. Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second?